Hi guys, and welcome to this week's BartenderHQ.com podcast. And on this week's show, I'm going to be talking about the new Swally shirts, which are available from SwallyShirts.com. I'm going to be having a quick chat about Tastemade, which I don't know if you guys have known about yet, but if you've got an Apple TV, it's one of the new icons that is showing up right there on your screen, and a few other bits and bobs from around the world of bars. So let's get on with the show.
Welcome to the BartenderHQ.com podcast. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at BartenderHQ. Here's your host, David Scooby Sangwell.
So, Swally shirts. Now, these guys, I've been interacting a little bit with them on Twitter, and these guys are at Swally shirts, I believe. And if you go and have a quick look at their website, SwallyShirts.com. They've got some awesome whiskey-based t-shirt designs for guys and for girls. And they're based up in Glasgow, I believe. They've been really cool. They've been retweeting a lot of our stuff and all that kind of thing. I've ordered one of these shirts. It is their Dark Side of the Malt shirt, which is not quite out yet, but that's on order. And as soon as it arrives, I will be doing my next podcast wearing it. So looking forward to that. It looks really cool. It's based on the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon kind of design, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on that. It looks really, really cool. So, I don't know if you guys are on Twitter. If you are, do follow me. It's at BartenderHQ. There's a bunch of stuff going on over there now. This week as well, I've just come up with a bit of an idea, which is actually to do a whole bunch of superhero-themed cocktails, but not in the way that everyone else does it. Generally, when you hear themed cocktails and you see these kind of BuzzFeed-type lists on the internet, people tend to go along the lines of, okay, this is an Iron Man drink, so we're going to go with something that's red and yellow. It doesn't really do it for me. The drinks are always a bit contrived. They're never good quality drinks. They're always purely about how it looks and nothing to do with the kind of quality of the ingredients or any of the other stuff. So I've decided to start, and I've done the first one already, which is Iron Man inspired. And the idea with these is that I'm using the skills that you have as a bartender anyway. So when you have a guest come into your bar, you don't look at what they're wearing and think, right, what can I make this guy that is red and yellow? You kind of gauge the person. So in this case, it's Tony Stark from the Avengers. You look at what he already drinks. Now, we've got a couple of movies under our belt now, so we can see he drinks scotch in a few of them. He has that awesome kind of case that he opens up that's got the Lefroy and the glasses and everything in there right at the first movie where it opens for the first Iron Man movie that he's giving away when you buy enough of his missiles. We know that he drinks a lot of champagne. He's a billionaire. He's got huge amounts of spare cash. And we can see the sort of stuff that he drinks. You know, he orders a dirty martini at one point. You know, he's quite a stylish drinker. He's quite image conscious. He doesn't need to worry about the price of things. So we've basically taken that kind of approach, and I've created a drink specifically for him, which is kind of a molecular take on the Rusty Nail. So it's chilled Lefroy whiskey. And then a caviar made from the Drambuie, served straight up. So just rather than going what matches the outfit of these particular superheroes, I'm going to try and do what they would drink if they were really around, if they were choosing a cocktail, or if you were a bartender serving these guys, what you'd suggest for them. So I'd love for you guys to take a look at it. It's over at the Bartender HQ site, or you can find it on the Twitter page. I'm sure it'll be pretty... I'm going to share it a few times this week just to make sure people see it. So check it out, and if you've got ideas for any other superheroes, I'm going to try and get all the Avengers done this week, because I know they've come out it's come out this week in the UK. This weekend it's just launched, and it's premieres in the US, I believe, on Friday night is the general release. So we're going to try and get all the Avengers out this week, and if you've got any other superhero cocktail recipes, and I don't want them to match the costumes, I want them to match the either the secret identity or whoever that person is, that character. So give us a drink that matches the character of a superhero. I'd love to hear from you. Tweet them at me, or you can email them directly to me, david@bartenderhq.com, and I'd love to feature them on the site. I'll do some nice artwork up for it and that sort of thing. But yeah, send me some stuff over, and this has really piqued my interest as well in getting back into the molecular mixology stuff, which I've not done actually since I was in Dubai, and I really want to play around with it again. So I've got a molecular kit on order. It's on the way to me from Amazon at the minute. I'm going to have a play around with that. I'll make some cool videos of what we come up with, and we'll do a bit of a review of the kit as well. I will, if I can get my head round it again, I will get some proper molecular stuff in, like the El Bulli stuff and all the proper texturers and that kind of thing. But in the meantime, I think one of these little kits is brilliant just to try out some stuff, play around with it, and perfect for home bartending. Obviously, when you're going to be working in a regular bar, you need a little bit more of the bulk stuff and a little bit more capability to make the drinks in bulk, but yeah, we'll see how that goes anyway. So next on this week's show, I wanted to talk about Tastemade. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have encountered this before. It seems to be much bigger in the US than it is in the UK. I don't even know how big it is in the US. All I know is all of a sudden on my Apple TV, a little Tastemade icon, if you like, popped up, and clicked into it, and there's a few different shows in there. There's Local Flight, which has got some really cool cocktail stuff there if you want to take a look at that. If you've got an Apple TV, it's dead easy. If you haven't, grab yourself the app for the iPhone, and I'm sure you can find it all online as well. But Local Flight, the presenter basically goes out, he visits different bars in different cities, and challenges the bartenders to make some cool cocktails using really local ingredients. He goes to a traditional sweet shop in one of them, and they get some sweets that they then crush down and create into a special syrup and that sort of thing. And goes out to others where they've got local honeys, all that kind of thing. Some really interesting stuff on there. And also they have a city guide. Now, the city guide app seems to be a little bit limited in terms of what the cities are at the moment. The nearest one for me, and I'm in Birmingham in the UK, the nearest one that's mentioned is Bristol, which is a bit of a trek for me, and the other one is London. There's a few cities around the US that are on there. Not a huge number at the moment, but I think this is something that they're building up at the moment. And the idea with the city guides is that everything is user created, from what I can tell. So you're not actually looking at stuff that's professionally produced. Each of the videos is around about a minute and a half in length, and you'll get someone introduce themselves outside one of these bars or restaurants. Then they'll pop inside. The sound is it's a little bit difficult to hear sometimes, because of the background noise in the bars and the fact that it's all made on cell phones, as far as I can tell. Some of the other stuff on Tastemade is professionally produced. I'll just point that out. It's not all kind of user created, but these little 1 minute, 1.5 minute city guide videos are really interesting, and they give you a kind of glimpse into different bars at different places. So well worth a look. Have a quick look at those and see what you think. I'm hoping that they're going to extend this so that you can upload from whichever city you're in anywhere soon, or towns around major cities perhaps, because I'm not really going to go down to Bristol where I don't know the bars and start making stuff down there. What I want to do is really go around the bars that I know quite well around Birmingham and be able to promote a little bit of what they're already doing, because there's some amazing bars in this city that I need to get out to and really try some of their drinks. A few that come to mind straight away: the Botanist, which is being opened up. Julian Rose Gibbs runs that place. The Bureau, which is on Corporation Street in Birmingham, fantastic cocktail bar. Island Bar, one of the best flair bars outside of London, I think, in the UK. You've got the Victoria, which is the same group as the Island Bar. They do a lot of more craft stuff, craft beers. Jekyll and Hyde, which is a gin parlour. The list really goes on. There's some fantastic places to get yourself a drink in Birmingham, and so I really want to kind of showcase some of these. It's a bit of a shame that we can't do it through Tastemade at the moment, but maybe I'll just go out and make these videos anyway, and we'll post them on the site. If you saw what we did with the Benidorm stuff on last week's podcast, it'll be that kind of format, a little bit little bit more in depth, perhaps. A little bit more chat about them, maybe interview some of the bartenders, and we'll see. If you run a bar in Birmingham and you want me to come and visit you to make one of these videos, give me a shout. Again, tweet to me at BartenderHQ, tap me up on Facebook, whatever works for you guys, and we'll have a chat. And I'd love to come and see some of you guys in your bars and some of the drinks that you guys are making. Okay, last thing on this week's show. It's only going to be a quick show this week, not a long one as usual, but I just wanted to mention I've created a group on Facebook. Now, I don't know if you know the difference between pages and groups with Facebook. It's basically anyone can create content in these groups and sort of showcase it, and it kind of gets featured. With pages, if you guys get in touch with us on our page, then it kind of gets shoved into a posts to the page section. So it seems pages are more at promoting stuff and groups are more for chat. So think of groups more like the old web forums that used to be really prevalent, and everyone used to be on forums and chat rooms and that sort of thing all the time. So I've created this group over at Worldwide Bartender Community, I believe it's called. And what I'd like you to do is just get on there. It's a closed group at the minute, so you do need to request membership of the group. But I will. Okay, it's not a problem. It's purely to keep out all the little spam bots that will make our lives annoying otherwise. We don't want it to be just filled with adverts. If you've got some cool stuff about bars that you want to share, no problems at all. If you've got a deal that you know about on spirits that you can share with our group and people can get a good deal on something, no problems at all. Even if you actually are a wine merchant or a spirits merchant, you just want to share your website, don't mind, don't do it all the time, but absolutely fine. And I'll share a lot of the stuff that we do with Bartender HQ there as well. And hopefully everyone can kind of get together, because there's a load of different pages out there for bartenders in different places, but there doesn't seem to be one sort of central one that everyone can join in with. I don't want it to, it's not going to be purely a thing to promote Bartender HQ. It's for everyone to share whatever they're doing. If you've got flair stuff, awesome, show me your flair videos. If you've got a wicked recipe, share it with everyone. We can get it made at more bars. Especially for you guys out there, I know there's a few of you that enter things like the Bacardi Legacy competitions, and that's the other thing I want to know is when there are competitions coming up, let me know about it. I want to know, and we want to be able to share them and get more and more people to know about these competitions as and when they're happening, so that we can get better. The more people that know about these competitions and can enter these competitions, the better the bartending standard will get. The rising tide raises all boats, as they say. So if you know about any of this stuff and you want to share it, please get over to the Worldwide Bartender Community on Facebook. Put in a request for admission, and then add as many of your friends as you want. I mean, we want as many bartenders and cocktail enthusiasts in this group as absolutely possible. So get over there and do that. If you like our page on Facebook as well, which is facebook.com/BartenderHQ, you will find all of our posts on the website get popped into there straight away. Thank you guys that have signed up to the mailing list this week. You'll be getting a few emails from me over the next couple of weeks, and then it goes a little bit quiet, and then it's only when we've actually got some stuff that's important to share with you guys that we bother you. We don't like to spam you every week or twice a week or every month. It's purely when we've got some really big announcements that we want to put out there. So get over to bartenderhq.com as well. Check out the latest posts over there. The Avengers stuff will all be going up this week, as I've mentioned already. It's going to be a big week. It's going to be busy. I'm at work as usual, and then we've got a bank holiday at the end of the week, so I've got a long weekend. And probably end up at the bar at some point to throw some bottles around and that sort of thing. Cool. So, thank you very much for joining me again this week, guys, and we will see you again next week on the BartenderHQ.com podcast.
Thanks for listening to the BartenderHQ.com podcast. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at BartenderHQ.